welcome to DSF Tribe. I'm Dr. Kels, the co-director of the Shoreframe Student Investment Limited. Today we're going to talk about the difference between having a Gazette and a C of O. As we all know, it's one of the most important things in purchasing a property in Lagos is the title on the land. So today we're going to talk about the difference between having a C of O on the land and having a Gazette, because some clients usually have this perception, in my experience, that C of O is more superior to Gazette. So as a result of this, they tend to lose out on very very juicy deals that promises a high return on investment. So Mr. Alem, can you educate us on what C of O means?
So I'm the co-founder and the project director of the Shoreframe Student Investment Limited. So I'm talking about the title of the land called Gazette. It actually originated from the Land Use Act of 1978. Now, originally land belonged to the native people of Lagos State. Talking about the Omonile in quotes. They were the owners of the lands in Lagos State prior to the 1978 Land Use Act. And after the Land Use Act was enacted, the government took investors. The Land Use Act has to do with the government owning every land in Lagos State. So that bestows ownership of every land from Lagos State government. So meaning that Lagos State government had to seize all the land from the Omonile people. So to compensate them, they had to sign a document, like a mutual agreement, that okay, fine, we're going to release some part of the land to you. That process is called accession. Accession has to do with the legal transference of some land, parcels of land from Lagos State government back to the community. And most times, for instance, if the government wants to take about 100 acres from the community, they can take about 70 for their use, and then they grant accession for the remaining 30 acres. And these 30 acres that is granted to the community or the family, stating that these 30 acres, we have no intention of using it anymore, meaning it's deemed to be free from all government encumbrances. And then when this 30 acres is published in the Lagos State Gazette, then that land is called a Gazette land.
As a title on the land.
So when that accession is published, it's called a Gazette. And the advantage of that is that you stand a chance of not being scared that the government is going to come tomorrow to take that land from you, because the government have legally released that land, most times to the family, to the community, or to the company that applied for it.
Rookie Peters, the MD of Rookie Peters Homes. The major difference, because I've prefer it's a land carrying a title, a CFO title, than a land carrying a Gazette.
Yes.
So I had to really make a keen research on the two, and I discovered that personally, I actually prefer a land carrying a Gazette title than a land carrying a CFO title. I'll give my reasons. I know I'm going to bust your bubbles, I'm going to break a lot of tables. But the truth is, a CFO land is limited because there's a particular number of years that the government released that land for the owner, 99 years. So if you lived 100 years and you pass on that land to your children, they will have to go get another document to prove that they are the owners of the land. I actually prefer a land carrying a Gazette title. Two, when you have a CFO, you cannot go get a Gazette. But if you have a Gazette, you can easily process your CFO. If you so want a CFO, if you so badly want a CFO, you can actually process your CFO. Three, now when you sell a land having a CFO title, you must go back to the governor, or the buyer must go back to the governor to consent on that transaction. If not, that transaction is illegal. So that comes about another title called governor's consent. The governor will have to governor's consent only comes at a point whereby a property carrying a CFO is sold to another person. So the governor will have to consent on that transaction that, okay, this CFO we gave to this person is now being handed over to another person. So that's where that property will now be carrying a governor's consent to show that the original owners of the CFO sold it to that person. A lot of times you find situations whereby a client comes and you tell them this land is gazetted, and they'll be like, they prefer CFO. You can see that the Gazette is not even common. It's better, and it's not even common. It's not all land that many lands have a section, but not all of them have been registered in the official Gazette register. Not every land is gazetted. So if you find a land that has a Gazette, I advise clients, people all over the world that are looking to invest in properties to jump to it, to get at it.
So basically, yeah, in a nutshell, yeah, both titles are very good. No one is superior to one. Gazette is a very, very strong and valid title, and CFO as well is a good title. So regardless, this is just to encourage clients, not to lose out on deals because of, say, this one has Gazette, that one doesn't have CFO. Because unfortunately, all that is in most clients' head is CFO. You get, does the land have CFO? If the land doesn't have CFO, they're not buying. So there are processes to this thing. If you want to get a property, especially from a company, get a surveyor to chart out the status of the land, then get a lawyer to do due diligence, ensure that the land is free from all forms of government acquisition. And usually when you get your deed of assignment, register it with the government registry. This is to secure your end from the omonile and from land grabbers. But if you're buying from a company, you're safe. You don't need to do all this stress. Just ensure that you're buying from a company that has integrity and is reputable.
Basically, they've spoken my mind. I think they've spoken my mind. Well, one thing I'll pick up on is the fact is for my clients, the clients out there. So before you're purchasing any property, like my comrade said, you make sure you do your due diligence. So it's not just about buying the property. What do you know about this property? What title does this property have? You understand? And by all means, try to avoid omonile wahala, and that's why you should always
get from a company.
Yeah, I think she's ready
to
that.
From you. Our next episode, we are going to specifically talk about why you should buy from a company.
Exactly.
So stay tuned.
See, I would have given you the tidbits, but I want you to anticipate. Watch this space.
Peace out.